Hey, I just set the camera up. Not sure what I'm going to talk about, but I know that I would love to talk about some things. And this is sort of different than my other YouTube videos. In my other YouTube videos, everything was scripted. I had a plan for what I wanted to say, what I intended to talk about. And this is different. And if I can get through this with the wind blowing and the wind not blowing into the mic, then this will make me more comfortable. But right now, when I do these videos, specifically in an outside setting, then I have to deal with the unpredictability of what shows up, what the mic picks up, and just the overall flow of the technical stuff. And for me, that interrupts a lot of my mental focus, my emotional focus, because a lot of what I would like to say requires a lot of mental and emotional focus. But doing these videos often come with the challenge of technical stuff. So the technical stuff, the editing, the administrative stuff, all of those things on a personal note are exhausting to me. Very exhausting. And since I've been doing this, that has been one of my biggest challenges. Because if you've been on YouTube since its infancy, then you will see how YouTube has evolved to where each YouTube channel is its own TV production. It's its own real channel. And depending on the success of the channel, depending on the popularity of the channel, depending on the support of the channel, then all of the technical things, the administrative things, the editors, the staff, you see it reflected in the videos themselves. And a part of me admires that and is inspired by that, but then a part of me is jealous and envious of that because I'm just my only one-staffed individual. And I've really been feeling this out in my own unique way. I've not really been playing by the rules. I'll adjust myself according to the rules just to kind of remain in the community guidelines. But I've never really played by the rules. And I think that stems from just my life outside of YouTube being an oddball out. And this message or whatever it is that I'm going to share here has not been planned. I've not scripted this out. Mainly because there's a lot that I would like to share, and how I share on this platform compared to TikTok and Instagram is that I'm always on the fly. I'm sharing on the fly, and whatever thought is coming in, I'll just flow with that thought. And I don't have to worry about editing. I don't have to worry about administrative stuff. I don't have to worry about anything. And I love that. But it's when my brain gets locked into the technical things, the editing, the administrative stuff, then what feels like fun to me feels like work. And a part of this conversation is really now about my relationship with work. And often when I share these videos, it's more so a collective we thing. But then there's been a lot of significant changes happening in my professional life, in my personal life, and it's left me in the space of isolation. And I know that if you're watching this, then you are most likely in that space, or you're familiar with the space of isolation. And I talk about this quite a lot, but I don't necessarily talk about it from my personal experience. And although I am transparent to the degree of what I share, I often don't let you into real-time scenarios. And this particular video is actually one of them. Because in the space of isolation, I am evaluating and reevaluating my relationship with work, my relationship with people, my relationship with locations, my relationship with pretty much every circumstance that is occurring in my life. And I would not be honest with myself if I didn't say that it felt lonely. And so I deal with loneliness just like the next human being. And when I talk about this specifically with my clients, because I am a certified life coach, my definition of loneliness is the inability to communicate with yourself effectively. It took me a while, or it took me time to actually begin to start communicating with myself effectively, because I would make mental notes to myself, but I would never really communicate with myself and really check in with myself to ask myself, like, what makes you happy, Joseph? What are you excited about? What are you committed to? What are you grateful for? And these things I've actually have been a part of my journey toward my own personal development, and being able to speak to myself in a way where I actually care about myself has been a balm for managing these bouts of loneliness. And for me, the space of loneliness now comes from not just holding up a wall and protecting myself from the world outside of me. It really has been coming from the desire to connect with the world outside of me, and realizing that most of the world outside of me is unable to meet me at the depth in which I met myself. And this isn't to put my life, my personal life, my human existence on a pedestal and saying, oh, I'm better than you and you are less than me, or vice versa. Oh, I'm less than you and you are better than me. But it becomes a tug of war, or it becomes more of a playful balancing act. And that's often the dynamic of the relationship, specifically the relationships that I just listed, the relationship that I have with my work, the relationship that I have with people, places, things, and circumstances. And I came to this profound revelation in just that thought. And it's never been about things going my way. And it's always been about exploring and experiencing joy in the things that come my way. And when that hit, it actually sat me down, because when that came to me, I was in the space of ruminating what my next move was, what that looked like, how I was going to get there, who was going to join me, literally this mental checklist in my mind about how I think things should go. And when you've been someone who dealt with a significant amount of misery, a significant amount of disappointment, a significant amount of unmet expectations, a significant amount of unreliable support, then joy feels like a foreign language. The state of joy feels like a foreign emotional and a mental state to be in, because the whole point of wanting things or needing things to go your way is sort of needing to control the outcomes. It's not even sort of, it really is the need to control the outcome of your own misery. And I'll say my own misery. And there are levels to misery. There is, because oftentimes hearing the word misery can actually send you down to the extreme worst case scenario of misery. But everybody gets their own measure of misery. That's just a part of the human experience. And I think when you can accept that thought, that no one's exempt from misery, no one's exempt from disappointment, no one's exempt from trauma, since trauma seems to be a huge theme in the world today and a part of so many different conversations, and a part of a lot of the conversations that I've shared here on this platform. And being able to sit with that thought in so many different ways allows you to make peace with your own misery. Not only just make peace with it, but to begin to peel back the layers of what that looks like. And this is a part of communicating effectively with yourself, because in the general sense of communicating effectively, it kind of sides and leans towards the positive aspect of things, but it really involves leaning into the negative aspects of things, the things that you don't want to see, the things that disempower you and keep you in this state of sadness and depression and stress and anxiety. And being able to lean into it, scooch over into it, actually allows you to humanize it, to make it more human. and to get you out of the state of mind that your joy or your relief and your fulfillment is over there and not here. Because everything is always happening right here, right now. And each experience allows us that opportunity to be right here, right now. Because it's the only space that matters. It's the only space that will ever matter. And when it comes to the experiencing and exploring joy, this is a part of the exploration. Because it allows you to stop treating joy like it's a foreign object. It allows you to stop treating peace like it's a foreign object, to stop treating the things that make you feel good like it's a foreign object. And you see the twist here? And I'm often reminded of how twisted this gets, because we live in a society that's all about go, 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 and get, and do, because your happiness and your joy and your peace and your fulfillment is over there. It's over there in that job. It's over here. It's over there in this YouTube channel. It's over there on that platform. And everything becomes clickbait. Want to make $1 million? Here are the steps to make $1 million. These are the 5 steps to XYZ if you do ABC. And then it treats the experience like a transactional, goal-oriented experience. And life is not some transactional, or I would say it's more than a transactional, goal-oriented experience. And when you're treating it as such, then the focus is really, the focus sits under the umbrella of these multicolored papers and coins that we call money. And that becomes the generalized focus. And in many cases, it takes the fun out, and it takes the joy out of just experiencing where you are right now. And oftentimes when the focus is on the money, then it's usually attached to some form of misery, some sort of chore that you got to get done, rather than a privilege you get to experience, you get to do. And that's when this tug of war can sort of start to become a playful balancing act. Because if this is going to be a balancing act, then this no longer means that this experience is about an invisible finish line that you got to get to, a goal that you got to achieve. And it becomes more of an intentional experience of right now. Because when it becomes a goal-oriented experience and everything just becomes about getting and striving, then you're met with a whole bunch of expectations. You're met with a lot of pressure. You're met with a lot of to-dos, and you get stuck in this productivity mindset where if I don't reach these goals, I don't smash these goals, then I won't get this amount of money. I won't get this opportunity or that thing over there. And then when you get that thing over there, then what you'll be met with is more pressure. You'll be met with more misery. You'll be met with more of the thing that you don't want. And so the whole point of exploring and experiencing joy is to allow that joy to overflow and to flow over the misery. So when it flows over the misery, then you actually get to ride the wave, surf the wave, into the space of your next experience. And so the next experience then becomes about more of that joy and more of that peace and more of what you actually desire. And what we actually desire and the satisfaction that comes from that is vastly different from what we think we desire, from what we think and what we've conceptualized joy as. Because oftentimes when you're thinking joy and you're conceptualizing it, then it doesn't become a realized experience. It feels like a foreign object. It feels like a foreign language, something that's unfamiliar. And you see the twist here? Because Albert Einstein calls that insanity. Meaning you're doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a completely different result. Now, if that is Albert Einstein's definition of insanity, then this go, 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 get, strive, strive, strive mentality is, if insanity is not what you desire, then what would be the steps to get you into the space of what you desire? What do you do differently? Explore and experience the joy. How do you explore and experience joy in something that looks like and feels like misery? Someone betrays you. Where's the joy in that? Someone abuses you. Where's the joy in that? You contract an STD or an STI. Where is the joy in that? You lose someone that you love. Where is the joy in that? You see how real this gets? And so what exploring this means is you got to do the exact thing that you don't want to do, and that's face it. Sit in it, face it, and acknowledge the undesired, unpleasant, unwanted thing. Because when you've been betrayed, then it triggers you, and that trigger is your feeling. You feel the trigger. You feel the discomfort. You feel the ungroundedness and the uncenteredness of that. And when you feel it, it becomes yours. So being able to face the fear, face the stress, face whatever the negative emotion is, then you get to now talk to it. You get to communicate with it. And so effective communication would be asking some very simple and very soft and gentle questions. What are you here to show me? I can't get rid of you, because every time that I try to run away from you and go over there to get away from you, you seem to meet me over there. So what can I deal? What are you here to show me right now? And this flips this thing upside down in a way where you get to humanize this feeling. And this requires you to sit still. This requires you to be quiet. This requires you to relax. And if you're not used to that, then this is where the practice comes in, because this is a process. And the process of communicating effectively to those undesired parts of you won't happen overnight. You won't master the art of effective communication overnight. But when you commit to the process, because the process is all about commitment, can you commit to showing up for yourself even when you don't feel your best? Can you commit to showing up and speaking to yourself even when no one else is speaking to you? Can you commit to showing up for yourself even when your basic human needs are not being met? Because those things are a part of the expectations. Those things are a part of the goals. And when the focus is too much on the expectations, then there's a high probability that the expectation will not be met, and it will not be met in the way that satisfies you. So, can you meet yourself in the discomfort? And I'm saying this for myself as well, because there are many of things that I feel limited in. And in this whole conversation about social media and my presence here and what I intend to give and share here is often met with a lot of limits. Because much like any social media user, any YouTuber, the intention is for people to bear witness to what you share. It's for people to support what you share. And for me, my intention hasn't been to sell you a course only, to sell you a product only, to sell you some clickbait material to put money in my pocket. Now, because we live in a business transactional world, that comes with the territory. Because yes, I do have digital courses. Yes, I do have coaching. I do have ways in order to monetize my life so that I can meet my own basic human needs. However, that is not the main intention. The main intention is to express my joy, express my peace, express my sincerest truth with the intention that it becomes a pulse for someone else to express their sincerest truth. And if you are watching this video and you are resonating with anything that I'm saying here, then this means that not only do you know what I know, but this is a reflection of your own sincerest truth. And if it doesn't resonate with you and you're pretty neutral about it, then this may not be your truth. And that's okay. And this is what makes this such a beautiful experience, because not everybody's intentions are the same. Not everybody's expectations are the same. Not everybody's emotional and mental setup is the same. It's synonymous to everyone's fingerprint. Everyone's fingerprint is not the same. We don't share the same fingerprint. We don't share the same blood type. But what makes us different is what makes us the same. You'll catch that later. But this applies to being able to effectively communicate with yourself. Because what I may do to communicate effectively with myself, my neighbor may not communicate that way. And the same applies to you. And that's okay. And the point of it all is to be okay no matter which way it goes. When you are able to listen and to receive the answer to the reason you feel uncomfortable, the reason you feel like you're restless, then this becomes a gateway to your joy. Because the intention is to have joy in the middle of your grief. When you're able to go along with the flow of life, then life will always meet your needs in ways that are expected as well as in ways that are unexpected. I'm going to stop it at this point because I can go on and on and on, specifically when I'm locked into that flow, and I feel like I've locked into it here in a way that I didn't expect, but I set the intention for that to happen. And so if any of this resonates well with you, then again, if you are seeing any of my content for the first time, my name is Joseph. I am a certified life coach, and my intention here on this platform is to inform and to educate and to just expand the general awareness of our human experience. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell notification to get notified for when I upload these videos, and comment and share. And let's expand the conversation. So in the meantime, in between time, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, and make the best of this right now moment and the right now moments to come.